This is my beat up old original Aeron chair from the late 1990s, which I got when all the cool tech people and programmers had to have one, and so I did too. I spent a lot of money for it. It was like the one I had at work and thought it was great. Now I keep thinking I'm going to get rid of it because there are better alternatives with more adjustments and things. But the darn thing just keeps going and it keeps showing up on best of lists, so I kind of go, it's not so bad, and then it's hard to justify the cost of replacing it. The biggest problem I've had so far, well, the arms snap off because they're just connected at this one point on this rail, but I was able to get a kit from a guy on eBay who custom manufactured some reinforced bolts for this. I don't know if he's still in business. If he is, I'll put it up. If not, you won't see anything. And that fixed that problem. So these are really strong now. And then the other problem is the bolster. This is the original back bolster. Looks like they've got a new modern system on the later chairs with more stuff. But mine's just a padded pad. Kept rotting away and falling out. And then I'd replace it and that would rip and fall away and rot out. So I stopped using the bolster entirely. But now my problem is, because I like to sit in this thing cross-legged, in kind of a Zen state of meditation when I'm working like this, the webbing has worn out here where I rub with the heel of my foot. So I wanted to fix that. And if you look on Amazon, there are a bunch of people, and also on eBay, selling these $139, I'm sure they all come from the same factory, $139 replacement seats. You can get just the webbing sometimes from people on eBay, which might be easier to replace, but they all seem to have runs or flaws in them, and that's why they're being sold and they're used. So this is new. There's mixed reviews on the quality of the thing, whether it's up to the original Herman Miller standard, probably not, but at this point with this chair, I just don't care. And by all reports, this thing is a pain in the butt to put on, so that's why I thought it'd be a good YouTube video, and you can watch me suffer as I struggle along with that. So we'll get this thing out of the box and have at it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. Okay, let's see what we got here. There you go. Seat in a bag. Yeah, so what is this thing? Product assembled in the USA, packaging made in China. This is like a DoorDash bag in here. And there's some hardware in a pouch. Well, it's very nice packaging. Ooh, we got gloves and some tools. We'll look at that. Very nice. I don't know. I'd say that's pretty similar to my chair. I wouldn't be able at first glance to tell you the difference in build quality. I have to compare it side by side here. Okay, let's check our size, see if this has a chance of working. As I said, this is a medium chair, and you can tell that because there's two bumps underneath the arch that holds the back up here, underneath the lip. There's one dot for small, two dots for medium, three dots for large. That seems about right. Perhaps the gap in the webbing is a little tighter, or mine are just worn out. So there's a small difference there. As far as the quality of the railing, it looks almost identical. Let's hold it this way and see if our size is going to be okay. Oh, we're right on. So we got the right size. So the problem's going to be doing these lousy bolts on each side because they're weird hex keys and stuff. I know that from reading around online, but let me look at the instructions and the tools and figure out where to go next. So I wound up moving the chair into the office, even though it's more crowded in here, because this thing's black and I can get a heck of a lot more light going on it. So if others have noted, I'm not sure you can do it with the tools they've included. It says you need a 10mm socket. They don't provide that, but they do provide a 10mm box end wrench, which is fairly heavy, doesn't seem too bad. A ratchet wrench is not included. a 4mm hex key is not included, but this T25 Torex is, and it kind of fits the same space. This is padded and everything. It's not bad. 6mm hex bit, which is this. Nothing special about that. And then they provide these gloves. I mean, yes, the chair is covered in dead skin and probably human fecal matter and God knows what else. So maybe these are nice to use, but I'm going to brave it because, you know, it's all from me. So the seat frame that holds the seat webbing is connected to the rest of the frame at 4 points, 2 on each side. This is what they call the hip pivot screw. And there's another screw back here that you probably can't see. I'll shoot some B-roll so you can cut it in so you can get a close look, which is called they call the seat link. And that's where the 10mm socket or wrench is supposed to come in. And I guess in these old chairs there's a bunch of bushings back there too. And I think they want us to remove that one first. So here's a better view of the seat link. This is the bolt we're going to take out. And they're all on about supporting this thing. Like if it crashes, it's going to cause the end of the world. I don't see how. It's not that, it doesn't look like it's that heavy or in the way of anything. But rather than try to prop something up underneath it, I'm just going to do this and hope that this is sufficient. No idea. So they would have you put the 10mm on the back of this thing and then come in with the T25 and turn this. I think the problem with that is you have to come in at an angle over the bar here, so you don't get very good purchase. Although, is it turning? No. Boy, that just scares the crap out of me, like I'm going to strip it. So, I have a solution. The Torex seems a little sketchy to me, but this comes from IKEA furniture, and if you put together any IKEA stuff, you have this, and this is indeed a 4mm hex key, and it fits that seat link nut, the head of it, perfectly. So this is what I'm going to use to hold it, and we can try using the box end wrench, but perhaps a ratchet socket would be a lot better. Let's see. Yeah, so this is really a recording adventure because the camera's on the floor. It'd obviously be better if I was doing this the other way and on a table and shooting down at it. But anyway, let's get I'm doing this by feel because you are where I would normally be. Well, poop, I'm using a wireless mic for the first time, and I accidentally turned it off, so I didn't have audio going when I was pulling that, but you saw what I did. I had to use the 10mm socket I brought from outside to get this thing off, and it came off pretty easy. I don't know if there's any bushings or anything in here. Let's see. No, it's just loose, so I guess I'll do this on the other side and maybe try to do a better job of recording what I'm doing. Let's try this on the other side and hopefully we won't lose our sound halfway through this time. Okay, support for the seat link. Well, let's get the IKEA wrench in here, which is always a bit of a pain. There we go. Can hold that. Go with the socket. I've got this really low now, so I may hit you with it. There we go. A little tough to crack, but once you get it going, it's okay. Hope you can see that. Okay, let's see. And I don't see any bushing pieces or anything in these, just the link. No, let me get my wrench out of there. It's really in. First I couldn't get it in, now I can't get it out. Come on, you. There we go. Yay. The seat link bolts are out and the seat link is supported. So now it's time to try to remove the hip pivot screw and pray that we don't rip out the bolt that's mounted in the plastic here so that it just spins and spins and the thing never comes out. They say use a 6mm hex bit, which is in the tools list, but which they don't actually provide. They provide this. So we can see if we can do it with their tool. I don't think I have a 6-meter ratchetable hex. Is that even going to go in there? Hex Allen key. I have English ones, so we may have to come up with something else that works. But let's see. We know this is 180, 200 inch-pounds, so it's tight. So let's see if we can just. Okay, that's kind of That's pivoting down like a rocking chair. Okay, can we do it? Oh, yeah. Okay, well that wasn't so bad. I can't tell if it's turning. It feels like it's coming out, so I don't think it's stripped out of the plastic. Let me hold this up a little bit. There she is. Let's see if we get just as lucky on this side. Get it into at an angle where I can really put my body weight on it to push down. It really doesn't feel like it's going in very far, which is not giving me a great sense of security. Oops. Okay, so now this is starting to tweak around. So I pushed down on it fairly hard. Probably shouldn't give it a little support here. Okay, now in theory it comes out. Hey, how about that? Well, heck, this is pretty disgusting. I better clean that. Ugh. Well, this is certainly a lot easier to clean with the seat out of the way. I mean, there's 22-year-old pieces of skin in here. So here's the old one and the new one. There's not a lot of difference between the two. Even the webbing looks pretty close to the same. Maybe this isn't laid in on the new one quite as nicely. It seems a little more ripply as this, but that's about the only real difference I see. The color's about the same and everything. So let's put the new one in. Of course, if I was wearing the white gloves, I probably wouldn't be getting my old white skin dust all over the new one either. Ugh. Sorry to show you the horror of the bottom of this thing, but what some people were saying was if you could take out these screws, you could lift just the webbing frame out of the seat frame. But I'm not sure getting to all these screws would be any easier with all the other hardware in place. Maybe. Anyway, people on eBay are selling just the webbing. I don't know if they sell the webbing frame as well. And the prices seem to be like, you know, 50, 60 bucks, but all the webbings have some minor damage. But if you're trying to save some money and not, you know, spend the $139, then that's another way to go. So there's some cushioning rubber in the front of the old seat that's all falling apart. And this label, if I read the date code right, looks like this seat chair was made on November 30th, 1999 at 9 in the evening. A little interesting. Because I did buy it directly from Herman Miller. See, this new seat has a nice new thick foam rubber piece there, B20. Now, unlike the old seat, this new seat has a different receiver for the hip pivot screw that looks a little stronger, but it also looks like it's made out of another plastic and set in here. Maybe it is one molded piece. The other one is much simpler and lacks these support struts, but probably uses more material and seems to all be the same color. So now they want us to drop the new seat in, starting with the hip pivot screws, which makes sense. I'll just put them in loosely, and then they want them torqued. We'll see about that, probably do that last. So there's the hip pivot screw receptacle on the new one. Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought a bunch of bushings and stuff might fall out, but it's just 4 screws, 2 big, 2 small, and 2 10mm nuts. So we can get this through here. Kind of lay that in there. What are you doing? Okay. Yeah, see, it says on older chairs I'm supposed to have bushings and a spacer, and maybe they're in the end of the seat link and just didn't fall out, but I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm just going to screw it back together. Of course, this nut on the inside's a lock nut, which we're reusing, which is probably not the smartest thing in the world, but... So are there bushings there? Yeah, well, maybe. Okay. Oh, how do I get this to fit into the link? I have to tilt the seat back or down. There we go. I gotcha. Another pair of hands would be handy with this. I got one hand on the top to move it up and down, and the other is trying to wiggle the bolt into the hole. It is a pain. There we go. Oh, it was going. I had it. Come on. Come on, you. Well, now we're like too far here. I need my optivisor so I can see what I'm doing. This will get us a little more light too. Okay. I can see it now. Come on. There. Yay. No torque spec for this one. We'll just do it till it's tight, I guess. I wonder if this will hold it in an orientation that makes the other side easier to do. Sorry, my big hand's in the way there. That's it. It just reaches the end of its travel and stops and can't go anymore. Yeah, this thing is covered with skin dust. It's pretty disgusting. I mean, I cleaned up a lot of it, but still. Well, now this is a little high. Shoot. Not sure how to get that lined up. It's just a barrel. I may stick an awl in there and pry it up. It's I think that did it. Yeah, I think that did it. I don't know how else you'd get this lined up, except a lot of fiddling. Come on. Push it down, push it up. There's just the tiniest bit of play. Let's try lineman's pliers, the all-purpose hammer. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, baby. I gotta say, this feels a little fuzzier than my old one, just slightly. But maybe that's just because it's not been worn down by my enormous butt yet. Yeah, you really need a 6mm hex socket for this thing, and I just have imperial hex wrenches, and 1/4 is too big and 3/16 is too small. That's all I've got. So I guess we're just gonna kind of do this and try not to over tighten it or under tighten it. Don't want to strip it out. Don't want it to fall out. We'll go around to the other side. So yeah, I don't know how evenly it's going to sit between the two posts because I didn't really pay much attention to trying to line it up nicely. Yeah, I wish I had a proper torque wrench for this. And it's hard for me to express how tight I'm doing it. Boy, that's... I'd rather under than over. If it gets loose, I can figure it out, and maybe I'll go ahead and get a set of hex, socketed hex wrenches, because they'd be good to have anyway. Okay, moment of truth. I have it really low, but is it rocking? Is it going to come back up? It's really stiff compared to the old one. I guess the old one got pretty stretched out. I lock the... I never use the controls on this side. Oh yeah. Okay, now I've locked the rock and I can't unlock it. But anyway, I'll figure all that out. Seems to work. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You really do want to have a ratchet and a 6mm socketed Allen key. That would be ideal. And a torque wrench would be super nice to have as well. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.